My name is Yona Akiva. The issue of religious people serving in the army and the conflict that arouses, that most religious people don't serve in the army and secular people do, and the problems that they have with the religious community for not doing so. It's not a simple question. It's not such a simple issue, and this is one of the many issues that's so unfortunate that separates and, so to speak, cuts off a potential bridge of connection. And I think it's mostly the, so to speak, evil forces that create these blocks of connection just because they don't want that connection to happen. It would be too powerful if the Jews were able to come together and speak and understand each other and come to a certain common understanding. The army is a place it's difficult to maintain religious standards, high standards, and still participate in the army. And I've heard that from even soldiers who aren't very religious at all. They told me themselves it's very hard to be religious in the army. Granted, there are some units that are more fitting for religious people. There are other issues of modesty, relationships between women and men that exist there, and what a religious person is putting on stake by going in the army, secular people can't understand. Religious people don't. It's not that we don't believe in having an army. It's just the difficulties of the conditions. Nonetheless, serving in the community and doing other things that could benefit Israel and versus personal community for sure would be beneficial, especially for these people who don't relate so much to a life of studying. They're very religious people. You see, the hardest thing in Israel is for people to be in unity. And that's because our whole existence is dependent on unity. So the more you have on the side of holiness and good, that's how much opposition there's going to be. The more beneficial something can be for the world, and the more people can benefit and grow and change and develop into meaningful lives based on this concept, if it has so much potential to do good, therefore there's going to be the opposite forces trying to stop that. There was unity is beyond belief how good it could be. And I don't believe that the secular people found the purpose of life. So I don't think that the Haredim have to say, teach me about your secular life. I don't believe that. I believe that a religious person has to say to him, I love you and I accept you and I don't judge you and I can be friends with you. And this and this and this doesn't separate me and you. And when it comes down to it, if there was room for conversation, most likely the secular person would be much more inspired from the religious person and vice versa. You can learn things. I'm not saying secular people don't have something to teach in the world. You sit down with anyone, you can learn something from them. When people go through hard things and learn life lessons from it. But in terms of a whole package deal, that there's a purpose, religious people believe that there's a purpose to the universe. There's a creator, and the world was created and continuously sustained from an infinite being. And he gave us a purpose, he gave us a manual on how to live. So recently I started guiding, being a tour guide for birthright groups, Jewish students in America. I would say 95% of them come from completely secular homes. Because I grew up from a secular background and now I'm religious, I felt like I could act as a bridge and help people connect, even though they're secular, to see someone that looks like me and say, wow, he looks like that, I can relate to him. I can understand him, I can have a connection with him, I can have a relationship with him, I can learn from him. And I speak to the groups about Sfat, about the Kabbalah, about some of the customs that we do. I tell you, when I speak to these secular groups and afterwards they come up to you and they say, I used to see people that look like you and I used to think this and that and this and all these stereotypes. They said, a few people said to me, you broke every stereotype that I ever had about religious people. That's a great, what's better than that?